Hey guys, hope everyone is having a really great day. I'm super excited because today I'm going to the Success Resources Summit. I'm so excited because Gary Vaynerchuk is speaking and he is my #1 inspiration. I just love him so much. So what I'm gonna do is that they don't permit cameras inside the event, but I'm just going to be filming my journey and I'm gonna take some notes and I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna tell you all about it. Let's go, let's learn a lot. Okay, so I just got to the Sydney showgrounds. Everyone was meant to come in the morning, but I'm coming later on in the afternoon just to see Gary Vee. So hopefully the line isn't going to be too big. But initial thoughts, I'm really excited. I want to ask Gary a question maybe.
Information for the next hour and a bit. What I'd really love to do is what you guys are doing right now. Let's have a little bit of dialogue. Because I don't know if anyone here has been to a party before, but it's Sydney, and I'm going to fucking assume you have.
Grab your seats, get comfortable, get your notepads out. Good luck trying to ride at the speed that Gary speaks. This will be an experience like no other. It'll be like drinking from a fire hose of entrepreneurial wit, passion, and profanity. Sydney, put your hands together and strap yourselves in for Gary Vaynerchuk. What up, what up? What up, Sydney? It is good to be here. Hello, everyone. Please sit. Let's do this. So, the way we structure today's talk is I'm going to talk for 30 minutes, and then we are going to do 30 minutes of Q&A, which I think are in the corners over there. They'll set that up. But first of all, thank you so much for the warm welcome. I'm super excited to be here. I touched down earlier today, and there's a lot of different things I'd like to touch on, but what I'm going to speak about is really things that I hope lead to more detailed questions when we get into the Q&A session. And so there's really two things that I think about, which is one of the reasons that I talk a lot about things like clouds and dirt or macro, micro, or not being half pregnant or in the middle is I genuinely believe that when I analyze things that have worked for me, for the businesses I admire, for other people that have created success, I think that you need to play in the edges. What I mean by that is upper funnel, lower funnel. What I mean by that is brand and sales. What I mean by that is scalable activities and then non-scalable activities. For me, one of the more interesting things I did today was on the drive here for about 40 minutes, I was just replying to a bunch of different texts that I've got from a text platform that I've created during this time where the internet on your phone has created such substantial scale for all of us. Every single person is so focused on what they want from other people, yet they deploy no value in return to the other person for what they want. The gateway to everything you're trying to get out of this conference is empathy and being selfless. Yet that is the least attractive thing to most people. People are so worried about how they're gonna get to a expensive watch or private plane or fancy vacation that they're confused of how you actually get there. And so I am unbelievably passionate and starting to continue the process that I've been on over the last 15 years, which is to put pressure on this room to understand, unless you're bringing value, you will become irrelevant, because what the internet also does is it allows every one of us to play. The reason so many people ask me what the next big platform is because they're far more interested in playing a game of being first versus playing a game of being best. You're in a bad spot, because the playing field is easier than it's ever been in the history of the human race. That's not a dig. I'm not interested in razzing. I'm not trying to be Debbie fucking Downer. I'm trying to create a very logical conversation that if you're not, you need to recognize that 80% likely you're trying to make it happen too fast because deep down you're so insecure that you need financial success to cover up your pain. Or B, you just might not be good at it. And what you should do is what a lot of my friends did, which they became employee number 13 and 19 and 25 at Facebook and Uber. And I promise you, employee number 54 at Facebook made more money than every person in this room, including me right now. Self-awareness is the most important conversation in our society. The rise of entrepreneurship and the coolness has forced so many people into thinking they need to be one. I mean, look, my last book I wrote, Crushing It, which only came out 18 months ago, I didn't even mention LinkedIn in the book. It wasn't even in the book. Because that's how fast all of the attention changes. Musical.ly's Crushing It 3 years ago with 13-year-olds, then it dies because of the acquisition, then it reforms itself and comes back as TikTok, and now it really matters. Like, the speed in which this all is evolving is enormous, which means the capabilities you need to have are enormous. But this starts with self-awareness and auditing your skill set. If you look at my career from 1996 to today, I have been on top of and a contemporary and a great executor of almost every shift except one. I am silent from 2002 to 2006 because that was the era when blogs exploded. And I can't write for shit. There is nobody who has 5 New York Times best-selling books that writes worse than me on earth. The reason I couldn't take advantage of blogs was I couldn't write. I was self-aware enough that I couldn't. I didn't have the money or infrastructure to hire a writer to do it. And so I had to take that L and miss that era with enormous frustration. Sing, and you having to do another job in addition to help a mother who's disabled. You know what I mean? It maybe you'll click and get the right client who gets you another 30 clients, and all of a sudden you're right there. The other option you have is to audit every other hour that you have that isn't in the full-time job and the side hustle of singing that may allow you to do more of the singing stuff. Do you see what I mean? Like, usually the thing when people have to do two things that they have to focus on is auditing their leisure. So,
thank you so much.
So, Gary, there's still 100 people lining up.
Yes.
Something that might add value is to wrap it up in one question. How much do you feel that you are just affirming their intuition? Because so many of the questions, they knew the answer themselves, and they're almost reaching out to you to go, yes, rather than trusting their gut.
I think, to your point, in the way that those questions went, I think half the time it's affirmation. I think the other half of the time is my lack of education and my lack of paying attention to other voices has created an extremely simple framework where the answer's simple, and they weren't looking for affirmation. They just had so many contradictory thoughts that getting the simplicity of the answer just created clarity. I think the far majority of people overthink shit. And so it's either affirmation or it's simplicity.
Excellent. I set you up tonight as if you were going to be like a bat out of hell.
I heard.
How often are you in this really connected, peaceful power?
Like one in every 20 to 30 talks, this comes out, and I'm always interested in it. You know, it's not predicated on being tired. You know, I always think when I do this, I'm like, do they think that it's predicated on I'm in mid-thought. You know, a lot of times when it happens, I can feel myself in a zone where I'm just so quiet, and it doesn't, I also am very thoughtful. What I mean by that is, this is now the third time I'm in Sydney in, in less than 2.5 years. And so I'm always thoughtful of most of this room, whether they've seen it physically here or online, have gotten the energy thing. I thought tonight, you know, I think of myself as somebody who's trying to find different angles to connect. And I think this tone with this information tonight, for a lot of people, might be not disappointing, but sometimes when you go see your favorite band, you want to hear the hits, right? And other times you want to hear something else. And for me, I'm desperate to get people to win. And if I can throw this off speed pitch or curveball, and because I did, this was the time something penetrated their mind, because the beat of the cadence of what I normally do has become mundane and they're used to it. I'm always trying to do things that bring value, and intuitively tonight here, I felt this was the right tone and tenor, and that's what I went with. Have you enjoyed it?
Amazing, guys. So the whole thing just finished, and initial reaction, that was so amazing. I really loved it. I was about to ask a question, but he was running overtime, and literally there were like hundreds of people that still wanted to ask him questions. But that was so funny, and I'm so happy that I actually got to film a majority of it. The only thing is that I feel like it went by so fast, but he was up there for like 2 hours. Hey guys, so I am now back from the Gary Vaynerchuk Success Seminar. I hope that you enjoyed that little journey with me. So he actually provided a lot of great points and tips. I would have really loved to hear specifically what people from Australia can do, because there's a smaller audience. So I would show you guys this book that I had notes on about the experience, and this is really cute. I don't know, like I just love like little things like this. If you ever have a chance to go to Gary Vaynerchuk seminar throughout the world, I would highly recommend. As always, Gary always talks about posting a lot, and that's essentially what he said first up as soon as he came on stage, that you need to be posting as much as possible, especially if you're a brand. As a video creator, I'm like, damn, I really need to post more video content. Like I should be posting video content every single day and connecting with people that are video creators, which is what I'm going to be doing. Before, why I was reluctant to go was he was like, oh, like these people go to keynotes and they kind of waste their time, like everything is online and on the internet. But he sort of rebuked that today, and he was like, you know, like as he always says, like I always repeat myself, but I say it in different ways. I say it in cartoon form, I say it swearingly, like I say it in all these different type of, you know, outlets, so it can hit you, because you can be saying a lot of things a million of times, but unless you say it the right way to that person, it's never gonna hit them right. So especially if you see someone in person, it's really impactful. It wasn't just an inspiration, it was like, I'm on the right path, this is what I should be doing. So essentially something that he hasn't addressed yet is the Instagram taking out the like count, which the US hasn't been hit with and they don't really know about it, but Australia has implemented this for about 2 weeks now. And so Gary's input is much of what I thought it would be, and this is 100% what I agree with, is that it's great. Many people really care about other people's opinions, like, you know, co-workers, friends.
People don't post more often is they're worried about getting too many, they're worried about how many likes they're gonna get.
Well, that's fixed now, isn't it?
No, just
Well,
here.
Oh, just here, yeah,
which is
that's right.
amazing.
What do you
And
think of that? You like that?
I'm a big fan of it, because
Yeah.
I think people have started becoming characters to the algorithm,
Yeah.
and they put out the same shit over and over instead of being creative.
Do you think the what we've done here in Australia, where they're trialing out these no likes,
I'm in love with
do you
it.
think that will? Do you think they'll
I think-
roll that out across the world?
I hope.
Me too.
And I'm somebody who gets a ton of likes, but I hope so, because I think it will lead to much better behavior.
The algorithm changes essentially every single day, and you don't know what the actual algorithm is. People just think that they know, but in reality you don't know what's going to blow up. So speak what's on your mind, post things that you like. He really likes the incorporation of the no likes, because people aren't going to be pertaining to likes. But the only thing about that is that if someone really wanted to, they can go on Instagram on the computer, which I do at work. Like I don't just scroll on my phone on Instagram, I go on my desktop. So the big thing that he said, he's like, the one thing that I want you to take away from this whole entire thing is to please start podcasts and LinkedIn, no matter if you're a company, you're a business, trying to sell something, if you're trying to build your personal brand, doesn't matter. Keep sharing and posting LinkedIn. He said, I mean, to me, this is insane, like 5 posts per day on LinkedIn. A lot of the time he also says, like, if you can't make something that day, just reproduce something, just share something, provide your service of what you think is cool. So the best thing that you can do is start a podcast. The better thing after that is to film that podcast. The better thing after that is to do it successfully and to do it every single week. And the best situation out of all of that is to do all of those things and actually get guests on every single week. Everyone listens to podcasts. He did that thing again where he's like, stand up if you listen to podcasts. And everyone stood up and people were like shocked in the audience, which I'm like, he's done this millions of times. Like I've seen him like ask that question all the time. And it was cool to be a part of that, but like people were shocked. So people on LinkedIn don't give a shit. So if you don't post, you're finished. Strike now. And I was like scribbling away. And post content on LinkedIn because no one gives a shit. Into influence marketing. I don't know what that means. I was literally like, if you see this page, it's like a doctor's handwriting. This is another really interesting thing that he touched on that I haven't really heard him say a lot. And I've listened to a lot of his stuff, is me and fast. That's what everyone is about. I want it fast and I want it to be about me, but you're going to lose on that method. That's all in the ego. And the way, this isn't his words, this is me adding on to it. He was saying the slow and fast thing, but for me, that's all in your ego. Like people got famous or got a, you know, a viral video because it provided value, and then they didn't know what to do with it, and maybe they became, you know, people like Jake Paul or Tana Mojo. But you know, those are like the lucky people. It's a smoking mirror essentially, because you don't know the process of how it happened, and so people want it to be fast and about me because that's how they think that other people got it. And they're like, oh wow, so this person's really rich or whatever and famous. No, that's not how it works. Instead of fast and me, you need to think slow and them. So the process has to be slow and you have to be thinking about them, your audience. You have to be providing value. Patience, patience, patience. And a lot of the time I just see people be like, me, this is what happens to me, this is what's gonna happen to me, and they talk to people like people owe them something, and that's all in the ego. Nothing matters more than communicating and bringing value. Find and connect to people that are truly interesting. Also, what I really enjoyed him saying to someone, because someone asked him, how can I build my business and also not work full time without having to, you know, have 2-minute noodles every single day or every single night? And he replied, noodles taste delicious when you have caviar on your mind. I literally wrote this word for word. Noodles are delicious when you're trying to get caviar. That's what he said. And I think that was great and everyone clapped. Dude, it makes sense. So that was all that I wrote down on my notes. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Make sure to subscribe as I will be posting videos like this more often, and give it a like. Thank you so much. And I hope I provided you some value, because what the hell else am I doing here? Alright, see ya!